think on everybody's mind is, hey, are there maybe props we can hone in on early? Are there bets that we can hone in on early? If you know Propy and Maestro, you know probably they've got stuff on SportsLine already on this Monday morning at 10 in the morning. So again, if you're not a SportsLine member, you're not getting the benefit of that. Let's start with the Chiefs-Ravens. Ravens, these odds powered by BetMGM, of course. Ravens -3 here. It's a 44.5 point total. I believe this opened at 3.5. It's now down to 3. What's really cool is Propy and Maestro, we haven't even gotten to our official picks. And we've got official picks on this game, which we're going to give out now. But before I get there, can I just ask? I got to ask Buckets. First of all, Buckets, I know you're giving out, because I mentioned my Twitter picks. I know you, correct me if I'm wrong, you've been giving out some picks on Twitter as well, right?
Oh, see, I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and I know that I had a rough time on the early edge last week, but I did go 3-1 on my picks on Twitter yesterday, so I'm hoping that I can keep that momentum going here into the new week, because we are finally done with most of the Cup games and back to domestic schedules that we love so much here.
3-1. It's not bad. It's not as good as 3-0-1, which is what I did this weekend in my golf matchups. Again, did I mention only one loss through 3 tournaments in round matchups? I don't know if I mentioned that, but in case I didn't, only one loss. All right, let's get back to football. Buckets, love what you're doing on the early edge and SportsLine and Twitter. Chiefs at the Ravens. Now, Larry, you already have a play on this game, so let's talk about your play first.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of 3.5s in the market, but I did find a -3, and I jumped on it because, even though the Chiefs looked great offensively yesterday, they were averaging almost 10 yards a play into the fourth quarter, finished at 7.7 yards per play, and now it's 3 good weeks of offense for them. But I think all of those come with an asterisk when you look at the Bengals, how bad they are defensively, how beat up the Dolphins were, how beat up the Bills were, and then suffered more injuries in game. And I think it's going to be a totally different story. We saw the Ravens hold the Texans with 0 points on 9 of their 10 drives. They're healthy. They're at home. And what do the Chiefs do? They give up rushing yards. Now they have to face the best rushing attack in the entire NFL.
All right. That actually makes a lot of sense. Propy, I want to kick it to you because I know you have a prop in this game that you gave out. And speaking of props and speaking of bets, you were 4-1 this weekend in the NFL, which, by the way, I was as well. Listen, this brand has absolutely been on fire the last couple of days. The one I lost, by the way, was Isaiah Likely. I lost that one by a couple of yards there, speaking of the Baltimore Ravens. With all of that said, Propy, not only 4-1 in the NFL, but 6-2, I believe, in the NBA this weekend. You are crushing it as usual. You've got a prop in this game. Talk to us about it.
I do indeed, Sia. Yeah, one that I got out so everyone could jump on this early. I want to also mention I have 2 additional NFL props already on the site as well, in addition to 2 NBA props, one of which I'll be giving out later on this show. But if you are a SportsLine subscriber, I would suggest grabbing these numbers early. But yeah, I'm going to play a prop on Rashee Rice. And for the first time this season, and for the first time ever, frankly, Sia, I'm going to fade Rashee Rice. We're going to go under 6.5 receptions for the stud rookie wide receiver. If you've been following me for the duration of the season, even into the offseason, I was banging the drum for Rashee Rice ever since the Chiefs selected him 55th overall out of SMU in the draft. I thought he would emerge as the wide receiver 1 on the Kansas City Chiefs, which he's clearly done. He's been ultra productive down the stretch of the season. Finally became a full-time player in this Kansas City offense, and that's really when I think they turned things around. But yeah, 7 receptions is a massive ask for any wide receiver, especially against this Baltimore defense, which I mentioned as we faded Nico Collins last week, is the best pass defense in the NFL. They rank 2nd in EPA allowed per dropback, 2nd in PFF's coverage grade. They are exceptional against first reads as well, which Rashee Rice is primarily in this Kansas City offense. Oh, and by the way, Baltimore is a run funnel as well. Teams opt to run heavily against them while the game is competitive or a neutral game script because of how strong this pass defense is. 6 wide receivers this season have had 7 receptions or more against the Baltimore Ravens. 6 over the course. And that includes the playoffs as well. So that's 18 games played. So that is unbelievably impressive on Baltimore's pass defense. Also, you have to go all the way back to December 10th. Back, I believe it's week 13 against the Rams. The last time the Ravens allowed a wide receiver, who was Cooper Kupp, I might add, to have 7 receptions. So this is just a huge ask for the rookie wide receiver who has been phenomenal, but this is just such a tough matchup against the league's best pass defense. And they've been doing this without Marlon Humphrey, who's an all-pro cornerback as well. So I ultimately expect this number to tick down to 5.5. It'll be juiced to the over, but yeah, this number should be 5.5 for Rashee Rice. So get on this early. I expect it to close at 5.5.
Who's going to give you 10 minutes of content right off the bat on a game that the line was literally just set for? Propy skipped right past his token furthermore, and he went to, oh, by the way. That just screams confidence. Absolutely love the pick. I think it's such a sharp play. Get it at -130 while you can. By the way, AMAG's in the chat. M Squared is in the chat. We got everybody in the chat here. Let's talk about Lions 49ers. Let's go to that one before we get to some NBA marquee matchups and our official picks, of course. We got the Lions. We got the Niners. It's a 7-point spread at BetMGM. Pretty high. I guess it's understandable. We don't know the status of Debo. I personally think he's not going to play, but that's just me speculating. Larry, let's go to you first. What do you think about this one?
Well, the initial temptation is going to be to grab the points with the Lions, who put up 31 points in their win over the Bucks. And the 49ers did not look good offensively. Debo, we don't know his status. Brock Purdy couldn't handle the wet conditions. But then again, it's going to be perfect weather next weekend. And you have to look at this trend that I found from Cleve TA. Dome teams going outside for conference title games, 0-7 straight up. 0-7 against the spread, failing to cover by more than 25 points. I don't think the Lions are getting blown out, but I do think the 49ers are going to be the right side if you can get it under 7, because people are going to react to what they saw, and what they saw was the Packers basically dominating.
Yeah, the Packers, I mean, let's be honest. The Packers were the better team in that game, and they should have won that game. With that said, you wonder, Propy, if the 7-point spread, which I think people think is probably a little high, you wonder if built into that is the Jared Goff splits. Is that, the splits that consider a dome team going, first of all, to the West Coast, but in an outdoor environment. With all of that said, I don't really, personally, immediately, I don't really have a play one way or the other. I really need to investigate this. Maybe you can help me. What do you like in this one?
I've leaned the Lions here for sure. I actually think they're a tough matchup for San Francisco for a bevy of reasons. First and foremost, the Lions run the ball as effectively as any team in the NFL, an excellent 1-2 punch behind one of the better offensive lines in the league. We saw Aaron Jones and Green Bay's offensive line dominate the line of scrimmage, surprisingly. But San Francisco has been a poor run defense all season long. That was not just a one-off performance there. In neutral and competitive game environments, they have not been a good run defense. Because of the fact that they typically lead by significant margins, teams aren't running heavily against them. But again, in competitive game environments, teams have been very effective running against the San Francisco run defense. So I think they got a little bit exposed there. And then as far as San Francisco's offense, potentially no Debo, but I just think this is a tough spot for Brock Purdy, who also may have gotten exposed a little bit as well. I think Detroit's defense, they have a very strong run defense. And we know, obviously, Christian McCaffrey is the engine of San Francisco's offense. I think Detroit is well equipped to potentially slow him down a little bit. So I like the Lions quite a bit. And again, the game may be outside, but Larry mentioned optimal conditions as far as right now is concerned. Obviously, things can change between now and then. But yeah, if the weather is good, then yeah, I think it's a little bit overblown that they're traveling outside of this dome. So yeah, I think the Lions look good here.
All right, yeah, the chat has a lot of opinions on this game as well, which I absolutely love. Buckets, I got to ask you, Lions or 49ers? Because again, both Maestro and Propy were pretty convincing. I just need a third party to sway me.
This is Lions and 49ers?
That's right.
I want to make sure I stay. Okay. I want to make sure I stay as professional as possible. So I'm going to back the 49ers to cover whatever side of the spread they're on, because I am a big Travis Kelce, Swiftie, all that good stuff means a lot to me. So going with the 49ers here.
Okay. So here's the thing, Buckets. I hate to break this news to you. So
no, it's Chiefs. That's Chiefs. Same colors. Okay. Go
Similar
Lions then.
colors.
Go Lions then.
Go Lions. Wow. That was really in depth. I love that. So I guess you're rooting for the Chiefs in the other game.
Chiefs
so,
Lions.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry I did that to everybody.